Welcome to Financial Confidence for High-Achieving Women, the go-to podcast for women of color entrepreneurs overwhelmed by their finances and ready to transform their money mindset, take control of their money, and build sustainable wealth. I'm your host, Taryn, better known as T-Money, certified financial coach and CEO of Money Honey LLC. I believe that abundance is your birthright and that good money management doesn't mean cutting out the joy from your life. Stick around to learn how you can build intentional money habits that align with your biggest lifestyle goals. Let's get into today's episode. Ever wondered if you should work with a financial advisor or maybe a planner, or is a money coach what you really need? And what's the difference anyway? If you've been confused about who does what or felt disappointed because hiring a financial professional didn't magically fix your money habits, you are not alone. So many women tell me they expected an advisor or planner to help them budget, stop overspending, or heal their fear around money. And that's not actually their job. Welcome to episode 30 of the Financial Confidence for High-Achieving Women podcast. I'm your host, Taryn, better known as T-Money. In today's episode, I'm breaking down the difference between a financial coach, a financial planner, and a financial advisor, what each one actually does, how much money or assets you need before hiring them, and when in your wealth journey each one makes sense. And most importantly, how we can all work together to support your financial goals. And if you're listening to this and thinking, okay, which one do I actually need right now? This is exactly what we figure out in my wealth alignment assessment. It's a 60-minute call where I help you understand what stage of your financial journey you're in, whether you need coaching, planning, or advisement, and how to build your personal money team. The link is in the show notes. And this one, I'm excited to get into what each role actually does and does not do first. Okay, so I have a little breakdown, so I'm going to take it on down with y'all. So first thing, of course, we got to start off with a financial coach. That's your girl. I am a financial wellness coach, but basically with coaching, our focuses are on your habits, your emotions, your budgeting. I would say general money systems and how you are dealing with your money on a day-to-day basis, really a lot about that spending habits part. So some of the key things we do is help you set up your money management systems, debt payoff plans. We get into money mindset, and then accountability. And I really enjoy all of that part, all that stuff, all those parts of financial coaching, because we really get into the relationship with money. And that's what I really focus on, especially on the financial wellness side of it. So it's not just having all these things to, pay off debt or have your account set up and things. It's about how you're actually relating to money and aligning it with the goals that you have for your life. Now, what financial coaches do not do, we do not invest your money or make really complex financial plans. So that's something that we do not do. Now let's move on to a financial planner, or you might have heard them referred to as a CFP, which means certified financial planner. And so what they focus on is the long-term life strategy. So you want to think about retirement planning, college funds, insurance, taxes, even some do estate plans as well. So they are looking at your long-term vision there. They're helping with, if you're at a certain level and you're okay, I want to buy this many investment properties or even just get my first home, things like that, they can help you with the planning for that. Now, what they do not do is they don't fix your spending habits or anything related to your mindset. So that's something to keep in mind when it comes to your financial planner. And now, of course, the financial advisor. And so they are all about the investments and the wealth growth. So usually if you're working with somebody who has assets under management, that would be your financial advisor. They're going to manage your portfolios, your IRAs, so your individual retirement accounts, 401k rollovers, insurance products, Yes, that can include life insurance as well. So the thing with them as well is that they don't teach the budgeting or emotional money skills. And so you're probably already able to start to see the difference between our three roles. Now, I will say that there are some financial planners that do have financial coaching certifications, and vice versa. Okay. uh that is just something that you can be aware of and ask questions about. But some of these roles are more so like, hand me the money and I'll do everything for you, but it doesn't necessarily teach you how to how to make these different moves with your money. And so I've had so many people tell me, like, I hired a financial advisor, but nothing changed. I'm still overspending and stressed. And that's really because advisors are not focused on fixing habits. That's where coaching comes in. Now let's get on to the next part here. So when you actually need each one, and the stage and the money in which that is good to have when you are looking to pursue each of these members of your money team. So your financial coach, you're ready for us when you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed with money. You could be in debt, you could be avoiding your bank account apps, stuck in your habits. I like to also think about it as, if you feel like you're doing everything right with money, yet it doesn't seem to be growing or it doesn't seem to feel good, that's a great time to work with us financial coaches. With the clients that I work with as well, they tend to be ready when they know that they want to have a healthy relationship with money. They know that they want to really get out of the survival mode and the scarcity mindset that they see that they still have, even though they have a lot more money than they ever had before. Okay, so the typical asset/stage, really you can work with a financial coach at any income level. So there are those who do specialize more in, different stages, different income levels of your journey. And so that is something, to look at as you're researching financial coaches. The next one, so financial planners. You're ready for this one when you have some stable income, I would say some savings, and you really want a roadmap for some of the big things that you want to do with money in particular. And your assets, here, I would say, like, closer to the 100,000, 250,000 in savings, investments, or if you're preparing for a big goal. So I think I talked about that earlier, like your house, retirement, kids. That's a good time to be looking at working with a financial planner to organize those things. And then for your financial advisor, you're ready for them when your money is growing and needs management. This is where, look, some people disagree, but I find that it's best to work with a financial advisor when you are in that $250,000 or more in investable assets area, because that's when you're going to get the most benefit. There are some who disagree, and they're totally welcome to that. But I've found that my clients who work with advisors when they're at that point tend to have more success. And we do have a financial advisor coming on the podcast soon, so I'm excited to dive into that even more. And one of the reasons why I say that's a good time to work with them is because advisors are often, charging a percentage of the assets managed. I want to say it's around 1%. And so, if you want to be able to keep as much of your money as possible, truthfully. And so you just want to make sure you're doing it when when it really makes sense and it's worth it for you. And if you're still like swiping your card without a plan, or you don't know where your money is going, then you don't need an advisor yet. So you need a coach first to help you build a foundation and gain that understanding of your money. All right, on to the next one. So we don't compete, That's a fun fact, okay? Like, I think people think that we're like, all competing for clients or we're in the same realm. Like, we really are a financial support team. And my clients will tell you I encourage them to, have their CPA, have their, advisor if they're ready for one, have the financial plan ready, things like that, right? That's what I encourage people to do because we all have different skills that we bring to the table. And you can work with us at different stages of your wealth journey. Like with coaches, again, we're really around like the daily habits and the mindset. And I also like to get into the body and how that's processing your money. Then your planner is really about like the roadmap and the strategy. So you can almost think of them like almost like a primary care doctor, right? So they're kind of doing the general medicine there. And whereas like a coach is kind of like a therapist or a trainer. So we're kind of getting into, more of the mental aspect and really helping with like that side of health. And then your advisor, they're like your investor and protector. So they're like a specialist, so you go to them when when you need that particular help in terms of investing and managing your assets. And so, like the goal is really not to just pick one. It's to build your financial support team over time. We grow with you as you elevate to new wealth levels. So I even speak as a financial coach, the things that we talk about maybe when we first start working together and we're discovering that there's some survival mode habits still in place is not going to be the same as once we've overcome that. Then we're starting to get into some more of the strategy, or we're like starting to process what it feels like to really hold the amount of money that you have and what it looks like when you start to make bigger purchases or when you start to receive even more money. Like that's how we can grow over time, which is one of my favorite things. I love growing with my clients. I love seeing how we can continue to, improve their relationship with money, improve their habits as they continue to build wealth and really grow the money that they have. So today, we cleared up the confusion, all right? So we talked about how coaches help you with your habits, your mindset, emotional spending, things like that. Planners will help you create a long-term wealth roadmap, and advisors help you invest and manage the assets that you've built. And the reason so many people feel disappointed is because they hire an advisor when what they really needed was support with money behaviors first. And so that is the big thing, like we need that support. And sometimes we think it's going to happen in one place when it's really happening in another, I know we've all been there. And so before we get into the action step today, I want to take a moment and shout out that we've reached 1,000 downloads, over 1,000 at this point. And the podcast isn't even a year old yet. And this milestone is so exciting. So I just want to take a moment to say thank you so much, y'all, for listening and sharing the podcast and sending me what has stood out to you and, your takeaways and everything like that. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. And now let's get to that action step because I know y'all love it. So I want you to ask yourself, which stage am I actually in? Habit building, planning, or investing. And, you don't have to have it all figured out right now. You just need to know your next right step. Y'all know I love to say, what's the next best thing we can do? All right. So if you're unsure which one you need right now, or your habits and mindset are holding you back, book a wealth alignment assessment with me. In 60 minutes, we'll identify exactly where you are in your financial journey and create a personalized roadmap. The link is in the show notes. And don't miss next week's episode where we're talking all about money habits. I just mentioned money habits and I'm excited to get into it, especially when saving turns into hoarding and fear of spending. So I'm very excited to get into that one, where I'm going to share some real client stories and a challenge you can start within 3 days. You're going to love it. So I'll catch you then. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Financial Confidence for High Achieving Women podcast. I hope the insights shared in this episode have inspired you to take one small action step toward a more empowered relationship with money. If you're ready to take control of your finances like the rich bitch you are, I invite you to book a 90-minute Organize Your Money Honey intensive with me. You'll walk away with a crystal clear financial plan, a budget you'll actually stick to, and actionable steps to start saving and investing faster. Head to the link in the show notes to book your spot. I'm so grateful to be part of your financial journey, and I can't wait to see all the incredible moves you'll make. Thank you for listening, and I'll catch you in the next episode.